Why is mine smoking already?
In this video, we're gonna dial in a set of WRX 2008 to 14 STI headlights. I'm gonna sit side by side with Mickey down at Throtl in San Diego. So the first thing that we gotta do is drive down there. But before we do, I wanna tell you about the parts that I used and the builder that helped me out huge for this video. So the builder highlight is Sinister WRX. Jay, he hooked it up big. He made a bunch of custom parts, shipped them to us for this project. And if you're interested, you can hop over to Throtl's YouTube channel, learn more about how you can actually win this car, not just the lights, but the actual car. And one last thing too, if you want to order any of the parts that I used in this video, you can get them from FlyRyde, but there's some stuff that I don't sell, like projectors. So I want to highlight Lightwerkz. They're a great company. If you want to order everything that I show in this video, they've got all of those parts listed on their website. Caesar is the man. He's way more on top of things than I am. And if you can tell, I actually have a home workshop set up now. And while I was setting all that up, I wasn't shipping stuff, but if people had ordered from Lightwerkz, it would have shipped just fine. So I just want to highlight them, and now let's just jump into the video. Jonathan.
Oh, what's up? Long time no see.
Yeah, right? So we're gonna load up the Jeep. He was just skateboarding. I was trying to catch him doing that, but yeah, we gotta load up kids, boxes, all kinds of stuff, and then off to San Diego we go. For the first time, I'm not driving to San Diego solo because my boys got my back. I'm so excited. It's gonna be a good day. We're gonna bring the box in and start tearing into the stuff that Jay prepared for us at Throtl. So we're gonna basically just do the easy part and get all the props like I did it all, but it wasn't me, it was Jay. Just remember that. You're gonna see cool things, but I didn't do them, it was Jay. So there we go. Looks crazy. All right, you guys I'm sure know Mickey and you know Evan from Throtl. If you don't, stop living under a rock, watch Throtl, subscribe to them, all that. We're gonna do the stuff that Jay put together for me. So somebody's gonna win this car and they're gonna get Jay's awesome lights and all the amazing things that Throtl has done to it. Gonna do some very simple bolt-on projectors and put these awesome honeycomb bezels in. The projectors have that same honeycomb look. So it's gonna be sick. We're gonna do RGB profile prism strips and I have them, yeah, check out that projector. It's a very basic bolt-on. And the last thing is we've got XK Chrome as always, because you know I love that app. That's gonna be powering this with Bluetooth, so dude can fiddle with his phone, make his headlights change colors, and do needless awesomeness. Let's just dive in. Nate from Custom Brackets and Designs makes things like this, like little packages, so that you can take a nice bi-xenon projector and just bolt it right up.
What is this? The custom bracket that probably bolts to this, I'm guessing.
And it's made for this specific housing so that that bolts to this seamless. So you don't even have to be good. You just put the bolts on and then it's aimed and
So
looks perfect.
Chapter.
Yep, it's 3D printing changed the game. Like look at that stupid little part. That's freaking awesome.
Allows you to bolt something that wasn't meant to be there in your place.
Yep.
Make it look nice too.
If you've watched my WRX video, I just dropped a screw, about how to take everything apart without breaking things. I mentioned that you want to take out all the screws and just like double check and go over everything before you get to the point where you're going to start trying to pry them open. Because in that video, I didn't get one of the screws and it wouldn't come. I couldn't figure it out. I felt like I was about to break something, then I stopped, I found the screw, took it out, and if I hadn't done that, I would have broken it and I would have showed you me breaking it. But I showed you instead me almost breaking it. And I don't want to show you me almost breaking anything today. So we're gonna get all the screws out. It'd be better if we don't break things. I love that we've got this super soft mat too. It's so much better. You know, it's a super common question that I get when people are asking about taking the lights out and doing anything like where you stick them in the oven. Everybody always worries about, do you have to take the bulbs out before you put them in the oven?
What?
And I always just ask them like, you know they're bulbs, right? Like, they're like burning hot glass things, and then you're gonna stick them inside a less hot oven. Like they should be fine. You don't have to take the wires off. I think a lot of people overthink all these steps. It's actually pretty easy, unless you forget a screw, so I don't wanna do that. Hey, I did forget one, nice. Same area like last time too.
So how many are there?
I will count right now. We've got,
I'm seeing 5.
we've got those 3, and then,
Did your boy get them all?
let's see. Let's see.
I got that one for you.
Well, then that probably means you did, sir. I think you did it. That's the one. So I think we're good. So now we just get to sit and heat. So we're just gonna go back and forth a ton of times. Like,
Why is mine smoking already? Just kidding.
Well, the funny thing is the glue will actually do that. The thing you want to avoid though, like for anybody that's doing this with a heat gun, is they'll keep it in one spot, and as soon as you see that black plastic start getting really glossy, you have gone too far, my friend.
Yep. So I've done this both ways. I've done the oven trick and I've done the heat gun trick. The oven trick is definitely easier. I feel like there's more risk in the oven trick because if you overdo it.
So what I think is funny is people watching YouTube videos to learn stuff, right? But they don't give themselves the benefit of context. So like, if you're watching a guy who's doesn't have a British accent tell you to put something in the oven at 250 degrees, he's not talking about Celsius. But if you watch that same guy in the UK do it, and I'm like, bro, do you know how hot 250 Celsius is? Like, do you heat anything in the oven at 500 degrees? No. Or 470, whatever? Like, no, of course not. Just a pizza, and this ain't pizza. So I've had a guy melt a GTR light into a puddle. And I gave him a really good deal. I gave him cost on a replacement set of the lights. But I still felt bad because I certainly didn't cover the cost of that ruined oven, right? But I think common sense goes a long way with all this stuff. You shouldn't do probably most car work if you don't have a decent amount of common sense.
So ice hockey skates are so advanced nowadays that you actually bake them in an oven as well, and then you put them on your feet. And
they form?
And it thermal.
That's like old snowboard boots back in the day. I remember when that was the thing.
Right. I shouldn't say that's really advanced because it's not an advanced thing, but it is a neat thing.
I think it's cool.
But some people do that sort of thing at home instead of having it done at the nearest hockey shop, which has like an oven that they put the skates in. And it only goes to a certain temperature, right? Right. I've seen a guy melt both of his skates down.
Damn.
Into a puddle.
That's a bad day.
Yeah, could be a potential $1,000 bad day.
Yeah, dude.
Although I guess the GTR headlights probably about
$3.
$3
yeah.
grand?
For the new ones, yeah.
Jeez.
These guys that see like I don't want to pay all that money to get this done. It's like, you don't have to. You have the option to watch all these free YouTube videos I put out, show you exactly what to do step by step. And I ask nothing of you, but you can't suck. You know what I mean? Like, there's that. That's always the thing too, is patience, dude. It's just like, guys that want to get mad and yank and force things should stay away from plastic. I've had a lot of people with this car just out of the blue recently start asking about stuff, and so I want to see Jay like choking on orders for custom lights and be like, stop, I'm booked. Don't send me anymore.
Good problem to have. So when the plastic gets shiny like this, is that bad?
Only if it's bubbling.
Bubbling?
Yeah, right?
Is it a problem? Or have we hit the right temperature?
If you see smoke but no flame, just keep going. All right, I'm gonna give it a wee yank on this corner. And yeah, it seems like it's pretty chill. So might want to spend a little bit of extra time right before you finish on these two tabs up on top. Because it becomes actually like a strength game if it's not 100% like warm enough, which you can win, but you don't want to have to, you know? Oops.
No, we're heating it for a reason. Use that to our advantage. I see her moving already. Did you already free these ones up?
Yeah, so as I go, so you started with this little guy, and then this one, it basically just doesn't want to really do anything until it needs to. So once I started pulling, you can see the little tab is actually right underneath it.
Yeah, I see it, yeah.
And so now it's just like kind of a slowly but surely back and forth. These two tabs on the bottom will, you'll inevitably have to stop until you adjust the next one down the line. Yeah, so this one will be next.
Use my finger and like kind of push those down.
Yep. When I do the oven, the first thing I do is I hit all the tabs that are overlapping like that while they're nice and soft and not brittle at all, and just kind of bend them out of the way. Because when they get heat later, they kind of have that memory. I'm gonna go ahead and clear up some of this glue. You could just use your finger, you can use a flathead or whatever. Calculated brutal strength. Is on top, the second clip. Check out this little corner right here. That's the one that I don't want to just keep ripping because you see like it changes that angle. And so it's gonna put pressure on a different spot. So I'm just gonna heat it up a little bit extra. I'm basically free and clear, so he's got more interesting stuff happening than me right now. This is also the part where when you didn't take all the screws out and you can't figure out why it's not coming, and then you hear a loud pop, that's bad. Whoops.
Yeah, loud pops during this process are usually not a good thing. I've found.
Sometimes there's stuff that it actually won't just separate. It won't like fan open. It has to come straight off because it's got like, it'll like be catching on the projector. Right. These lights, not the case. These are super cake.
Yeah, looks like they're coming out pretty good. Let's see, do I have any more clips? Nope.
Okay, so I am good to go. Hey, yeah, that was a turtle race. Mickey's a turtle.
Well, I have done this. This is probably the 6th time I've opened up a headlight, 6th pair. So I'm not an absolute rookie.
No, you're good. Isn't this weird though? Check that out. Look at all that just debris that has collected inside of these lights, and they don't look like they've
ever been open, yeah.
Yeah, they've never been open.
There's like sand in here.
Mm-hmm. It's just straight up sand.
One of the things I've struggled with when doing headlights
is
keeping the inside clean, because you've got so many variables. You've got this glue that is stretching.
Yeah.
A lot of times if it falls into the light on top of your chrome bezel, which these plastic chrome bezels they suck.
Yeah, it's super thin aluminum and it just rubs off.
Yeah, so I've gotten the glue on them before and I've had to wipe it off, try to wipe it off with acetone or something, and then you scratch it. Yeah. It inevitably just scratches. So you have to be very delicate when you do this, because otherwise you ruin something that is going to be visible to the eye. What
I usually tell people when they're at this stage right here is like, before you just get excited and rip the thing out, I like to go around the edges, and you'll find that there's glue that's actually mounded up in certain areas from when it was sealed. And there'll be certain parts where it's actually grabbing on to the part. So if you go through with like a little pick or something like that, and you separate it before you even bother lifting it out, now you're gonna eliminate that stretchy thing. So, not to mention right now it's easy to do it, but in 5 minutes or 10 minutes, that glue is gonna be stiffened way back up, and then you can't get it anyway. Yeah. So this, and a lot of times people ask if you have to remove all the glue, and if you're using rubber butyl, you're fine. Like you can just add more to it.
I've never even added butyl.
If you do a Mustang, all that stuff has to come out. Or you do a truck, or something like.
It's really dependent on what.
It's how it's sealed, yeah. Because you should replace whatever's in there now with this stuff.
Okay.
So if you start with this stuff, obviously keep it.
So I've never added any butyl. I've always reused the butyl that's on the light and just made sure I did a really good job of resealing them.
You know the big difference, what we didn't do right now that most people do?
What's that?
We didn't use flatheads to pry them open.
Right.
We used our hands.
When you use flatheads on this plastic, what I've noticed a lot of times is you actually stress the
you
plastic.
wreck the consistency of the seal, and so then, I mean, because you don't have to, sure, it makes it easier. You could just like an idiot just jam it in there and wedge it and it'll force it open, but like now you've got all of that.
Mistake the hard way.
So most people don't know that, and they're like, I don't understand, man, I've sealed my lights, and you look at them and they look like, you know, they came out of a second grade art class, and it's kind of clear why things aren't working. Jesus.
Welcome to my life.
Man.
That and the train. We have a train track right behind us too.
That's what Spencer Burke used to get so mad in his videos, because he was right by the airport. All the time you just hear that overhead of the planes. You couldn't hear anything he was saying. I don't watch anybody actually, which is, I want to. I don't even have enough time to create content, let alone consume it. So it's hard.
So everybody asks why I don't have my own channel. First of all, I do. It's called Throtl.
Yeah.
And
second off, sanity over.
I really have no time for it.
Yeah. So this one, we're not going to do any other cleanup or any changes to it. I'm not going to wipe down the inside because I always tell you guys not to do that. So the fun thing is these lenses are getting replaced. So Mickey is going to go after it and wipe down that one. Or maybe we don't wipe down that one, we do wipe down this one because that's all set. You want to do that? Want to wipe down this one instead?
Yeah, let's just see if
Because like you're already further down the road than I am.
this bolt in here.
So yeah, so we'll break the rule. We'll wipe her down in there.
Yeah, I know.
And then we'll compare the two after. And we'll see if we can see any little swipe marks or anything. Swipe or no swiping. Oh, this is awesome. I think I actually get to show you what an ultra fine scratch looks like. See that little dude? That little dudeski? So that came from this super soft guy.
Oh, that's what you're talking about, the scratch.
Yeah, so you exchange cloudiness for scratchiness.
Which headlights will work? It's this one, right?
Same.
$216.
I can't even get the bulb off.
Oh, it's a wiggle.
How about
Common
it,
thing.
OG?
Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.
I heard a big crackle in there.
Yeah, a big old piece of sand. Dude, I swear, homeboy's off-roading at the beach. Let's see, we got an 8mm bolt here. Now that's an adjuster that does the left to right adjustment on the lights. And they're typically capped off and blocked like this because they don't want you to mess with that. And so we have to pop off that little tab. Then we'll back out this 8mm. And then we've got an 8mm here on this. It's basically, it's not an AFS motor, it's a height adjustment motor. So like my whole idea behind why they use these motors is if you load your Subaru down with bricks in the trunk, so much so that the nose is aiming up, this is like a bias adjuster and it'll just aim the projectors down to compensate for the squatting in the back, which never actually happens. So this is it's just useless sales tools to move cars. Yeah, for sure. So there's this little ground wire on the igniter that just disconnects right there. Okay. So now the next part, you actually have to know what you're doing, which I don't, but that's okay. I've got 6 washers, 2 spacers.
I'm guessing that he's doing this depth to get the bracket away from the housing.
I agree. I think that's...
But it looks pretty close. I'm wondering if we don't put a couple of those washers.
Well, a lot of times too, it's the spacing that if you don't, this thing's gonna be protruding way further than it should be and knock into stuff. So I think we're getting nice and close.
The camera out of my face, Victor.
And then we've got a notch. So, retro quick bracket. Is that's not, oh yeah, that's the cool little 3D printed thing. I don't know.
It's definitely right against here.
There's a bunch of little fine-tune adjustments that need to be made. You've got a bracket, actually a 3D printed bracket that goes to the front of the projector, screws to that, and then it screws in this way. It's basically like a riser, right? So it's like maybe 3/8 of an inch or something like that. It's pulling this projector lens further down in here as opposed to it just being seated all the way up against where the original OEM holes are at. I've fiddled with it to the point where it's not budging or moving or anything like that, and it looks like it's damn straight. So we're gonna stick it on the car and check that in just a sec. I'm just gonna transfer the bulb over now and cross my fingers. Getting there. There it is. All right. Sweet.
I haven't done mine yet.
Nice.
I can put it in now though, right?
Yep. Okay. Dun, da, da. Hey. Hey.
Which is probably fine.
Yeah, you're 100% good. We're just pinning this guy. It just trips the little solenoid when it sees the high beams come on. We can test all of this, right? Meow. Platform that like, oh, my eardrum moved.
Yeah, holy.
Me. Hey.
Hold on.
Mickey's doesn't work.
Let me grab the camera, hold on.
Ooh, that got me good.
Really? Mine doesn't work? Are you serious?
Well, my right ear doesn't work, so.
It really doesn't work?
Oh, it totally works. Anytime you want to replace a bulb on a Subaru WRX STI, you first have to take the lens off the housing, and then you mount them to the car, then you test the horn, and then you just reach in and you twist that bulb while it's on, and you take the other bulb, And then you just put that back in there. And blow! And then you have to undo everything and put it all back on. Oh, and you test that.
So test fit.
The bulb or anything?
Yes, test fit is good. I guess more, not the test fit, more of a dry run just to make sure all the lights work and the bulbs are nice.
Yeah, we made sure just using this perfectly flat surface right here that our cutoff line had 0 imperfections. It was awesome.
So these things are solid. Straight out of the box. No adjustment necessary.
It's mainly the door frames that helped because I could just see,
Shut up.
Cut that out big.
A lot of times people go to plug in these RGB connections. They get the strip plugged into this, they plug this into the thing that's gonna power it up, and nothing comes on. And they call me and they say it's broken. And I'm like, did you ground the long black wire? And they say, what?
It's always the ground.
Follow the directions.
It's always the ground.
So it's gonna light up
The
just
move?
the honeycomb.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, maybe a wee bit of the projector. I can't really tell, right? No, whoa, hi.
Right, so
I
what
did
are we
dumb
doing with this
face.
again?
So
So you have it facing away from you. Going where?
it's just something to mush it down on. So what
Up here on top?
yeah, I actually went like this. We might want to just try it on one and fire up, see what we think.
Just a thin plastic.
He just prints, it's painted
Painted.
on like a clear plastic sheet.
I think what it is it's just like they do the etching of the lenses. I think it's a pattern that you printed a sticker, laid the sticker down, painted.
So I definitely,
Yeah, so this is, if that's the case, just flathead it, just lightly. It'll just lift off the chrome like nothing. Hey,
try this again.
nothing like second chances.
I live my life 1 second chance at a time.
That is quotable for sure. Somebody at the skate park the other day, I started skateboarding a bunch again. He's all, hey, how old are you? And I was like, 35. He's like, you're older than my dad. It's like, wow, like, you're 17. That shouldn't be the case, but all right. Oh, whatever.
All right, well, we're putting these lenses back on that SOS cleaned up for us. However, we are not happy with them, and neither was SOS because of the damage that's actually on the inside. Well, it's not necessarily even on the inside, it's just within the plastic itself. So any amount of sanding on the inside and outside and clear coating, whatever you do, is not going to fix this problem. It's a stress problem in the plastic.
This is a cool little bonus wire that you can hook up to something, anything, 12 volts, and then you can tell the app what you want it to do when this gets power. So you could hook this up to low beam, and you could say, I want to turn off that shit every time the low beams come on. Or you could hook this up to a remote control and say, I want it to turn pink every time that I push this button on the remote. Or you open the door, you open the hood, or you do something that triggers something.
Oh, cool.
So it's interesting.
Bonus wire.
Bonus.
I like bonus wire.
It's a dun-da-da.
Plug your lights in.
I did. It's a dun-da-da. I kind of feel like we got a little shadowing happening there. You know what? It is interesting that does actually catch in the. I didn't plug this light in, by the way. So if that's what you're checking. Ah, god damn it!
I didn't do that one.
Oh, shit. But it's green, Cersei. All right. You know what, dude? I'm into it. I'm a racer. I like these things. You don't feel like a little honeybee?
I do feel like a little hungry.
Be, oh, hey, check it out. We match.
Kind of natural.
Be yourself. Yeah, I'm into it.
More visible over here, eh?
I don't like my bulb. It's just hurting my eyeball right now. Wow, dude, that's not awesome.
It's so bright. Ooh.
So we should probably turn off that headlight. But look, dude, look at that lens now. Smart move.
Some
So that's why I giving him to Mickey.
Either that or this thing just pulls right out.
You want to just Hulk it out? Just show us?
I don't know.
One hand yank it?
No, because the Mickey's gonna yell at me.
That sounds pretty bad. I've said yank entirely too many times today.
Is there anything under there?
Oh, belly! You know what everybody says? They go, they don't fit. They don't fit. I'm like, they fit. Just It's just a little bit thicker than you're used to, sweetheart. Just
Push harder.
just
Answer is always push harder.
let's do a little check ski. Let's see the before. There it is.
That's the one.
Before and after. Oh, here, I'll show you these monsters, Mickey. Yeah.
Wow, is that brighter than what I have?
Dude, that's brighter than the sun. It's just stupid.
That's like a well.
And that's how you replace a small bulb. Come on, baby. Come on, baby.
He's like, whoa, you want to fix that angle? They applied their own nuts. They did the nuts. Look.
These nuts. All right, well, this man and me threw these things together because Jay made it pretty easy. He kind of built these lights. We were sent the brackets, we kind of fiddled with them. We got blown out audio-wise by an airplane. Anyway, the projectors bolted on, basically put all the bolts into place, make sure everything's nice and tight. It did a good job. We can't get to see the light output tonight because there's one issue that I want to show you really quick. So you can see we've got some issues with the lens here. It is just far too ugly. And so this is probably one of the reasons why you don't know when you go to build lights that they might look really, really cool when they're off, but then when you turn them on, or even with the projectors, you wanna do me a favor, sir? You wanna hit the high beams? We'll show what the bi-xenons look like. I know.
On another level.
That's why I sell them, dude. I looked. No, they're not. That's all my brand. That's all FlyRyde. Just because I found the brightest, craziest stuff, and I agree. Let's do it. Nice. Oh, that's perfect. Okay, so what we're looking at is the bi-xenon, the little shutter inside going from low beam to high beam. Now we don't have high beams anymore because Jay made these crazy honeycomb acrylic deletes, and they match the etching that's done on the lenses. So he kind of went all out. He made all this pretty painless for us to make. How hard was that install, you think?
6.
It was a 6?
That's kind of like, well, for someone that's never done it, I
Yeah.
think probably a 6.
For sure. I've never done it. You've never done it, right? Not this particular install.
I mean, the process is the same.
So the crazy thing, we actually have 4 different companies. So Jay made us this little part, and then he etched the lenses. Then he sent us the product from Custom Brackets and Designs. For somebody that wants to know how to do this, number 1, they could hit up Jay. Number 2, they could do it themselves easily if they just buy the same brackets that we messed with. But then you were talking about removing the reflectors on there too.
Yeah, I think we'll take the orange out, being that we have a switchback in here now.
Yeah.
So will that be orange?
Yeah, I'll turn them on right now. I actually threw in the,
Oh, okay.
I threw on the load resistors, so even right now, we've got a nice normal flash, not hyper flashing, and that side is that.
So when these are on, they'll just be white.
Yeah, so with the low beams on, they'll be white.
We actually need the reflector in there by law. California state law, and I don't know about the other 49 states, is that you have to have some sort of reflector
on the front of the car. What
Yeah.
I understand is that there's a difference between what you need to have if you're driving the car and what you need to have if you're selling. Ooh, that was like magic. What you need to have if you're selling a car in North America, if you want to keep like sticky reflector in your glove box. If you really wanted to like have cool looking lights and not be stuck with a big dumpy reflector in there, and like dude gave you a really hard time, you could kind of be like, oh, I forgot to put those on this morning.
That's what people used to do back in Ohio when the
Yeah.
clear taillights were all the rage and there was no
Alteza.
reflectors in them.
Yep.
People were just putting a piece of reflector tape on the lens just to get by.
It's the same thing. They say, so to sell a car in North America, it's got to have a backlit front orange reflector, and on the back of the car, it's got to have a backlit red reflector, just so that you could see it from the side. So again, big shout out to Jay, Nate at Custom Brackets and Designs, and of course Profile Prism for making the cool RGB parts, and XK Glow. We love their app, their controller. So I'm gonna again turn on XK Chrome right now, and we can just fiddle with some of this stuff a little bit more. I say that we make, like here, now they match the car, and now they match the trim, and now they match that little red piece of thing. Check this out. This is actually really interesting. There's a chameleon theme that this has, right? So if I click chameleon, if I aim it at the blue, it's turning the color of what I'm aiming at, or that red part right there. or that yellow there. That's crazy that it can do that. And I think I could take a picture and it's just gonna keep it that color. It's very interesting. There's so many different little functions that we can do, or the themes, but I'm actually a big fan of saving a color and making that the default. So that's what it's set to right now, is that default color. In any case, that delete right there, that's something I've never seen before. I think it really works out well with the bi-xenon projectors, and overall, I can't wait to see the photo shoot of this thing looking crazy. Let me know what you think about it, what you think about the honeycomb here. Have you ever seen something like that? Do you like it? Would you want to have deletes on your type of headlights? Because I can tell you this, if you do a lot of the same type of headlights like Jay does at Sinister WRX, it makes a lot of sense to make your own parts that do cool little unique functions like that. It's interesting to come and see all the different projects. I want to redo a bunch of the stuff on Mickey's Bad Apple RX-7, so that'll be coming up. He saw some bulbs today. They hurt his eyeballs. He liked that pain. We're gonna do more of that. All right, they're doing a bunch of stuff on the engine bay right now, so lights are off, everything came together. Jay, you're the man, I appreciate you, you're the best. Your work was awesome, that honeycomb stuff, absolutely crazy. So let's go say bye to these guys and get out of their hair. Hey, thanks so much for all the work today, dude. You were on top of it. It was amazing.
Thanks, bro. Thanks, man.
You guys, awesome as always.
Thank you for coming down, dude. Awesome work as always.
Thank you, sir. All right, we'll be back later. Where have you been the whole video?
Behind the camera.
Oh, all right. Well, I couldn't have done this. I always worry about coming down here and not getting things done because I'm just working and I just get into that work mode, not video mode, not anything. And it's funny when you're here because they're filming YouTube videos. Jonathan was filming YouTube videos. I'm making this YouTube video and it's really hard to stay on point. So if this was confusing in the least, forgive me. It's hard and it's just something that I want to get better and better at. Working with other people, all the crews, all the shops, I don't know. The stuff like this, I really hope that you enjoyed this and that this was a fun episode. It's not a normal one, but it's gonna be a lot different than me working in my home workshop now, and the shop is gone and I will be doing things like this when I'm not at home. So I hope this brought you some value. If it did, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're not already. And I'll definitely see you in a lot of future videos. See ya.